to do my reaction early. Of course, the engagement, so many things here and there. And again, I had to clean up the house by planning or organizing things here and there. Sometimes you're too busy. And of course, December has been, people call it a long holiday. For me, it has been a short holiday because I've been up and down busy with things here and there. Guys, before I just started, I just want to ask a question and let me know from you. Most professionals, people who already have jobs, seem to be so distant from politics, or rather the development of the country. Like the meager salaries that people are receiving fool them to think that they don't have to discuss politics. And this is one of the undoing we engage in. No wonder our country cannot move forward. Sijui kama unaweza nisaidia uwashe alafu tupike nini mapema. Umwage kwanza nini? Whatever is there. So guys, I've been just thinking, what about if the elite people would be actively engaged in politics, not actually as aspirants? Of course, some can be aspirants, but just understanding the nitty-gritties of politics, and again coming in to advise people, do civic education, enhance growth of the society by making people understand why politics is necessarily one of the things that defines our future, our current, and something like that. Now, I was looking at the reason why many people who are rewarded after elections are illiterate sometimes, and not even after developing anything in our constituencies. And I just came about to conclude that the reason why this happens is because most elite people don't want to talk politics. Actually, even on my channel, some people normally ask, why are you bothered? Why are you talking about politics? Why this? Why that? And I'm like, all right, you don't know what you're avoiding. Because it is this politics that define our past, our present, and future. And if we talk about it and understand it, then we will do things with open eyes. In fact, there is no day we'll now say we won't vote. But if we keep sitting on the fence and just treating politics like vegetables or anything else, or tea, there is no day we'll actually have this country having the best leaders. Tell me why, for example, people go voting even when they don't know who they are voting for. Tell me why these people are, for example, they dropped at class 4 or 3. And I don't mean any harm. I'm not here to actually label anybody or demean them. But what I'm saying is, if you are an elite, you understand things better. That's why you went to school. You understand things better. You know what the future should hold. But then you step aside and you avoid politics and say politics is not my game. Who said it's a game for anybody? Come on, guys. Today I've just decided, before I begin talking politics, I want to make you aware that politics is something you have to talk about anyway. I didn't come here to invite you to politics, but I just want you to be active in matters political, because politics defines us. It defines our present, future, and past, right? Politics is something that actually molds our life. It defines our advancement. Now, when you step aside as an elite because you have a job, because maybe the politics of the day say that we must do so, you are doing a very a disservice to the current generation and the future generation. And that's why the Gen Zs were actually quarreling their parents, saying that they are ready to go die in the streets because their parents never did what they expected them to engage in. Now, guys, I have to play some videos. Of course, today at one of the leaders in Kenya, there was a funeral at one of the leaders, that is Kakuyo. So I want us to go into that. And guys, do you know that Maina is being supported by RUTO? We were talking about wheelbarrow parties. And I was laughing all the way, wondering what is exactly happening. But I'm surprised that Maina is finally being supported by RUTO in one of his destinations. I also thought about Moses Kuria. Moses Kuria has stood up yesterday, and he was talking about things to do with Hague, and I was like, let me laugh. Because even if there is anything about what is going to happen in 2027, I don't want to insinuate any negative aspects. I'm not a pessimist. But if something is coming negative, we like it or not, itafanyika tu. So Moses Kuria has come up with allegations that there is a darkness ahead of us in 2027, and he's going to make sure that all those who are witnesses will be kept. I'm like, let me laugh at that. Mugesha Enterprises, welcome. Thank you so much for watching this channel. I appreciate your presence. I've been so dormant, or rather absent. Mugesha Enterprises, I said hi to you and welcome to the channel, Edutainment for Us. I've been a bit dormant, or rather inactive, in the past days, and therefore I feel like, all right, at least today I've been able to come up here and deal with one thing or the other. So thank you so much for showing up on the channel, and I appreciate your presence. And even though I have some few, I'm having some headache. I don't know why, but it's as a result of cold. I travel from different counties in Kenya. I've moved from one county to another, 3 different counties. And I think that affected me, partly causing this flu. And I'm still moving, guys. I'm very immobile. Is it mobile or mobile? I'm very mobile, yeah. So that mobility has affected me partly, and that is why in the last like 3 days, I didn't do much on a YouTube channel. I'm sorry for letting you down as my viewers, because I know when audience start following you, they want you to keep posting things, and it's unfortunate. This has even made me unable to show receipts all the time as I'm getting to do my videos. Thank you so much, Mugesha Enterprises, for actually wishing me well. I know I'm going to catch up. I am supposed to get supplements and something to motivate me to, to keep going. I have some fruits here, not much, some oranges and mangoes, I know, and also medication going up, so I know I'll be well. All right, so guys, you people, you saw what Moses Kuria said. I don't know whether you saw it, and I may not play the receipts, but I wish that you check on it. So Moses Kuria came up to say that there'll be something like Hague, and I was like, let me laugh at this, because why are we thinking of that? And again, Moses Kuria is one of the person who made sure that the people, Euros Milik, I remember you were here yesterday, you were asking why people are not here, and I told you to calm down, because some days people are busy, I understand. As a YouTuber, even when somebody doesn't come to watch, I just continue, because I know at least at the end of the day, people will watch. Thank you so much for the like, whoever has liked my video. I really appreciate. So Euro Milik, I remember you yesterday, you were here. Thank you so much for showing up again. I'm so appreciative. Yeah. So Moses Kuria, I just want to ask a question, and anybody who knows why Moses Kuria is coming up to banga the government should let us know. You know, I'm like, why is Moses Kuria suddenly changing to pretend that he's against anti-government when he has been pro-government? Why do I say he's pro-government? When he resigned from his seat, he said he's just going to calm down and sit away from politics and squander his money, stay in indoors. However, is that what happened? No. Recently, we saw in when JB Muturi and Gashago were struggling right in hey, in Wamudembe section. What did Moses Kuria do? He made sure that he had a candidate who stood up and made sure that Karish lost it. So the votes that were supposed to be picked by by this guy Karish went to another candidate whom Gashagwa had actually told to submit to this other party so that they win against the government. You see that? So I don't believe when Moses Kuria comes up now saying that he's bangering the government and talking about what is going to happen in 2027 and the fact that there'll be a Hague aspect. I don't see that. I just don't understand whether he's speaking so that they buy him, as it is the norm in Kenya. politics. They buy him and put him somewhere, maybe as an ambassador or something. It's about walk your way to the bank, possibly for him, because I don't understand why he's coming up to say such sentiments. But in Kenya, if you can check on Gladys Wanga, for example, Gladys Wanga is keeping herself active in politics by just releasing statements. The other day, she began to talk about Sifuna. There is a day she talked about Babu. Now, recently, she talked about Uhuru Kenyatta, right? Just to make sure that she's keeping her political figure active, possibly to have a specific position in 2027. Right? And so I suspect Moses Kuria is doing the same again, playing a game of wits. A game of wits, right? Okay. Now, away from that, I want us to talk about the collapsed building in South Sea. And I hope that the computer will allow me to connect. I don't know why it's not connecting with the phone. Let me try. Yeah. So I hope that it will connect. Let me see on the other end of the computer. Yeah, so it's saddening that the building that collapsed in South Sea could have been, avoided. And I also thank God that it collapsed before people moved in. I'm imagining if people moved into this house, then it collapsed. We would have great loss. Even though it is sad that we have about 4 families that will be mourning their loved ones who passed away in the course of the process. So we saw yesterday Ruku speaking and indicating that this house had flouted a lot of rules. And of course, among the rules that is flouted is the building was supposed to end at wall 12, the 12th floor. But do you know, by the time it collapsed, where they had reached? My goodness, Kenyans for you. By the time it collapsed, the building was on the 16th floor. Imagine, 4 roofs on top. Tamani ya nini? Actually, if your house is approved for 12 rooms, 12 floors, just let it be. There is no need kulazimisha 16 floors when your house iko na foundation ya 12 floors. But unfortunately, Kenya rules are broken. The deeper the pocket, the easy it is to break it. Because I'm told the people who are in charge of checking on houses and even stopping wrong buildings were just 100 meters. Hey, 100 meters away. But this house was going on. Can you imagine? Now, if people had actually, Annabelle, stop lying there. Sit. Na utandike nini yako huko vizuri mapema. So, I'm imagining if this house had actually collapsed after people moved in, what fate could we have met as Kenyans? I don't just want to imagine. And planning people and county offices, you normally receive a lot of money when people start construction. You are supposed also to make sure that orders not to construct are followed to the letter. So let's just check on what happened here. So I want to bring to you your knowledge the rules that were flagged. Now, among the rules that were flagged were this. The building was flagged down thrice as non-compliant. The building was approved for 12 floors. It was in the 16th floor at the time of collapse. The developer Abian Consulting Limited annual practicing license awarded on 1st of August 2023 expired on 31st of July 2024. Now, according to the police records, 3 persons working at the site, Farah Hassan, Jakub Abdiaziz, Jacob, Wycliffe Omondi Onyango were arrested in July 2025 but were released on 20,000 cash bail. Hey, Kenya Marwa. So in Kenya, when you conduct a serious crime, you are safe. I want to show you something else. Now, this house actually had authorities coming by to check in 2024 January. And what happened is that they were pushed and some of them moved away, limping. They even had bruises and they had to walk away, limping. Can you imagine? And the owner of the house seems to have been a very rich person. He was bribing every possible person so that he can go on with the construction. Now I want you to just look at this video partly and see what happened. Hey, my goodness, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. These authorities were chased away like dogs. See this? Did you see that? Look at that. Can you see that person falling off and came out limping? Ngoja tu mkule ndio mlale. Triza, don't sleep. Yeah. So can you imagine? Can you imagine that people were chased away from this building? Authorities who came to see what was happening, they went away limping. Possibly they had other injuries that they never shared. Now, when you check even on Ikonini broadcast, the South Sea building was a tragedy because of the bribery. I want us to look at this. Let's hear something from Ikonini broadcast.
So your building inaonekana, your side, it's a building that inasemekana saizi it might end up being like demolished. So yes, and then there's another footage ile hapo unaweza cheki now, like the sort of people wanacheki msaki wana his apron, alafu unaweza cheki your building ukiangalia vizuri you can see the standing building inasemekana that saizi ina shake and inaweza end up ikiangushwa. So unaweza cheki hivyo. So this was the even like the sort of response that we had, because I remember like now much later kuna vile nilienda nikipitana na nini fulani, nikipitana na truck fulani ile ilikuwa inaenda to that same area. Let me see kama naweza nini. Yes, ilikuwa hizi ma truck imeandikwa Sani. Yes, and the truck was going to that area. And yes, so this actually happened in a place that I pass by a lot of times. It also happened in a place that kuna kuwagana a lot of traffic. And now questions had to be asked. Kama umesikiza Ikonini long enough, umesikia gani kiteta that one thing I hate about our country, because mupendaga hii nchi sana. Unajua the reason why mupenda kucriticize nchi yangu ni because naipenda sana. And all things mu hate gijua hii nchi ni hakunaga consequences. Because the minute that there are no consequences, a lot of stuff happens. And right now, a building has collapsed. And what do we know so far? A few of the things zilinajua nazijua juu ya umsanaitwa Robert Alai.
All right, guys. So that is just the state of affairs. Of course, I've watched a lot of other reactors reacting on the same, and this is now my reaction. Unfortunately, in Kenya, if you know about construction, when these people who approve, that is plans, and also oversee what is going on come to your site, the focus of these people is money. I am assuring you, what they want from you is money and not the correct plans. Now, looking at this construction at South Sea, it is not just the first or the last to happen. We've had of late a lot of constructions going on in town, especially competing against what is happening in Italy and other places. And most of these people are not going for the rightful procedures. They create a foundation which is worth maybe 10 floors, but when they reach up there and they feel like they'll get more customers, they continue to build floors and floors. And because they can easily bribe the people who come around to oversee what they are doing, even if there is a stop order on their buildings, they'll continue constructing until they go up to the last end, what they wanted to do. So it's unfortunate, guys. Very unfortunate. Nyinyi, chukueni ndizi mkule kidogo. Ti, amka uchukue ndizi kule kidogo. Kingoja food. Yeah, so it's unfortunate that these events are happening. And even though we are shouting about South Sea, if you look at the rest of the towns in Kenya, because I've traveled around a lot in Kenya, specifically up to Garissa, you know, Kakuma, Isiolo, Bungoma, Busia, Homa Bay, you know, Machakos, Kitui, to Taita Taveta, that is the Taveta itself, Mwatate, Wundanyi, Mombasa, Kilifi, Kwale, Lamu, and all those places I've traveled. And sometimes I get to see how constructions are going on and I just get surprised or rather shocked. Just wondering, in case of a bomb blast or anything that would happen like an earthquake, what would happen to those people living inside? Some of the constructions in Kenya are even around rivers. And you realize that around rivers, you can't tell me the foundation is that deep. But have you not seen even around Mombasa, buildings that are even 16 or 14 floors or 10 floors? Tell me, how safe are the people inside those houses? Tell me. Get to Kisumu and tell me how safe are those constructions that are actually like 7 rooms up and they are near the lake. Near the lake. Tell me how safe the people inside are. So in Kenya, actually people are flaunting a lot of rules just because of selfish interest. And since housing has been made to look like it's a very lucrative business by even our own president, now people are running into that. And when constructions are being made, some of us are trying those constructions just 1 floor or 2 floors. But there are people who are building very tall constructions because they want to make sure that they capitalize on land. You know, land has turned out to be very expensive, especially in main towns like Nairobi, Mombasa, in the Eldoret and so forth. So what people are doing is when you buy a plot, you capitalize on going up, going to the sky. The sky is the limit, I'm telling you. And it's very wrong because you can imagine, we've just had 4 people lost here. But what about the building even of the person neighboring? It is going to be demolished. You've just seen in Ikonini, the tragedy has actually caused a lot of harm even to the person who was constructing. The weight of the foundation was not meant for 2 houses. But when the other building collapsed, it had to lean on his building. So definitely there'll be a loss on him. I don't know whether the owner is able to compensate the neighbor, compensate those who are dead in case of injuries, and again pay the this county government that was sleeping on its job. Because why did they let the construction continue beyond, you know, 12th floor? I don't understand. I don't understand. Actually, this county government people will bother you when you're just constructing a 1 floor thing. They'll come about, they'll ask for a lot of money to an extent that they'll even hamper your construction. They'll stop you from what you're doing. But when it comes to people who have money and they want to raise 10-story building, they'll easily do it because they have money. They'll bribe them with some 100,000s and have their way. But you is unable to even raise that 30,000 because you are saying this can be a door, this can be a window. They'll delay you as many times as possible until God knows when. It's unfortunate. And one of the most corrupt institutions in the country, I think it's this housing and planning thing. They are very corrupt. And the county government has taken advantage of that because now the officers who work in these offices just want to acquire money from the developers, even when you're constructing your own home. For heaven's sake, do you need someone to approve your house in your own compound? I don't know. But this is the state of affairs in Kenya. I don't know. Anybody else from a different country can also share their thoughts. But it is such a shaking event looking at the construction of South Sea. And for those of you who have been traveling even around Comoros, you've gone to Isili, you've gone to Kariobangi and those areas, you have seen all those constructions that are going on. How safe are they? Very tall buildings indeed, looking very fancy. But how safe are they for anybody? Anyway, let's move ahead and talk about something else. And of course, this is what happened at the funeral. You know, a lot of politicians turned up and Sifuna was among them, Gachagua was among them. So I want us to get to that and see what they are trying to talk about currently. So at Gakuya, this is what Sifuna said. What do you think about this?
Hawakuchagua mtu ya UDA kama MCA ati hampati maendeleo. Wanapata wale wapati wakuja waniambie leo. So sisi tunataka kusema kama watu wa Nairobi, sisi ni timu moja. Na wakati kuna masuala ambayo yanahusu Nairobi tunasimama sisi sote kwa kipamoja. Mwaka uliopita sisi wote ambao tumechaguliwa kwa bunge 19 of us, wakati ambapo tuliona kwamba recruitment ya jeshi sio fair kwa watu wa Nairobi, wanatupatia centers kidogo. Mheshimiwa Gakuya alikuwa wa kwanza kuweka sahihi. Tulienda mpaka kotini kustaki serikali ya Kasongo, kumwambia lazima tupewe fairness pale Nairobi, vijana wetu pia wapate nafasi. Mheshimiwa Mawade yuko hapa, alitia sahihi. Mheshimiwa Mark Mwenje na wote ambao wamechaguliwa. Nataka Mheshimiwa Gakuya, kwa niaba yangu mwenyewe, kwa niaba ya watu wote wa Nairobi, kwa niaba ya chama kizima cha ODM, niseme pole kwa kumpoteza mama yako. Kupoteza mama ni kitu kichungu sana. Na Mheshimiwa Gachagua, sisi huwa tunasimama pamoja. Hata mara ya kwanza mimi na wewe kupatana kwenye hafla kama hii, tulikuwa Nyeri kwa ndugu yangu huyo amekaa nyuma yako, Meja Dong, tukisindikiza mzazi. Tumeenda mpaka kule Ukambani kwa ajili ya kumsindikisha mzazi wa Mawade wakati alikufa. Wote ambao wamewahi kupata msiba kama huu, huwa tunajitokeza sote kama wana Nairobi. So, mtu asiniulize nafanya nini hapa.
Ya kukunywa enda uchukue uleta.
Unajua moderator, kuna watu wamechaguliwa constituencies ambao familia yao peke yao is big enough kufikisha kura 15,000, mtu anakuwa mbunge. Pale Nairobi lazima uchaguliwe na kila mtu. Mimi Sifuna nimepigiwa kura pale Nairobi na kabila zote ndio ukue senator wa county ya Nairobi. Wakamba lazima wakuunge, Wakikuyu lazima wakupigie, Waluya wakupigie, Wajaluo wakupigie, Wahindi wakupigie. Bila kura yao hauingi.
Nimetaka kunywa dawa, but ndizi pia tunafaa kula kutaribika bwana.
Kuambiwa mambo na watu ambao kwa kijiji yao peke yao, kijiji tu wako familia yao wamezaana sana, wamefikisha watu 3,000, wanakuchagua unakuwa mbunge. Nairobi is a different issue. Na sisi tunaishi pamoja.
Guys, looking at that or listening to that, do you think hata angalia ni nini, because I can't stop and deal with it. Actually paying attention to that, you would wonder whether Sifuna was bragging or whether he was just okay in whatever he was presenting, right? So Sifuna says that in Nairobi you have to be elected by different tribes, which is true. A lot of people, which is true. But then, what does he mean by saying that some people are just elected by their families, that they are born, there are so many in a family, there are about 3,000, so they were simply chosen by a family? I don't understand this. But it seemed that Sifuna was actually trying to prove a point here, that maybe he has a great impact in the Nairobi. Do you believe it? All right. Now, there came a point whereby now people believe that Sifuna is going to collaborate with Gachagua. But before that, I want us to listen to what Gachagua said at the funeral. And at the same time, there is a speech he gave on the road when people blocked him after coming out of the funeral. Annabelle, stop doing that. Kama umekunya ya kutosha, take it back the other side. Okay? Stop that.
Na atatuchunga vizuri. Alijua roho yetu ni biashara. Ona sia virakara. Ona toa atirijone kadhogo.
Kama imetosha peleka kuacha kunywa nini?
Ukiumia. Ona ni ndio meti wakahetu wakairetu.
Imetosha kana moja.
Sisi Bwana Sifuna ni kweli. Sisi tulisimama na William Ruto.
Uliongeza. Utaongeza ama inatosha?
Na alikuja hapa na Biblia.
Utaongeza ngine ama inatosha?
Na unajua sisi ni Wakristo.
Yangu.
Sisi ukitoa ushuhuda unasema Yesu ni Bwana na unasema Mwana ni agosho, tunakukubali. Alikuwa hapa every week. Siku hizi ya kuji tunamuona Kisumu na Siaya. She was here. And he convinced all of us ya kwamba ni Mkristo na atatuchunga vizuri. Alijua roho yetu ni biashara. Akatutaganya, alijua weakness yetu ni biashara.
Unataka
nyinyi watu ya mlima, nitatoa nyinyi chini mpaka juu. Wewe ukiwa na bodaboda, utawacha bodaboda ununue Sienta. Wewe ukiwa na Sienta, utawacha ununue matatu inaitwa box. Wewe ukiwa na box, utanunua basi. Wewe kama ni mtu ya hoka reja, utawacha ufungue kiosk. Mtu ya kiosk atanunua duka. Mtu ya duka atanunua mini supermarket. Na mtu ya mini supermarket atakuwa na supermarket. Sisi vile tunapenda pesa na kupanua biashara, tukaanguka kwa box. That is how he conned us. It was the greatest electoral fraud since independence. Mimi saa ingine najilaumu. Nasema mimi Rigathi Gachagua mtoto ya Munyoro ndio niliweka watu yangu kwa hii shimo. Lakini najipea nguvu, nasema kama huyu mtu alidanganya maaskofu.
Ile matanganya ilikuwa. Studiweka. All right, guys, so we are proceeding, and you've heard what Gachagua said, you've heard what Sifuna said. What is your take? So Gachagua is trying to tell us that indeed he understands he put the Wamunyoro in a very large grave, but he normally now has a submission. He says that if the president was actually able to use the same scheme on bishops, why not him? I don't know whether you believe in what he's saying or you just think this is a scheme of politicians. And this is why I call upon elite people to come and analyze the politics of the day. Some people may say that we are not supposed to engage in political discussions, but then how do we avoid it? It's a lie telling us that we should not talk about politics because we are civil servants. No, it is not right. Now, of course, you see what Gachagua is doing. He's already campaigning, right? Now, in the process, of course, he welcomes Sifuna to the party. Yeah.
Ndio wamenisaidia kusimamisha Ruto asimalize Mlima Kenya. Biashara zetu, kila kitu angetumaliza. Hao askari 20 wamenisaidia. Nataka mniongeze askari wafike 150. Nimekonyogerera. Na mimi nataka niombe watu wetu. Mukini kubali. I know what I'm doing. I'll help this community to get back into government and protect our interest. But I need foot soldiers. Tulianguka kwa sababu hatukuwa na askari. Askari walikuwa wangu, ndio Ruto walichukua. Akalipa pesa. Kama hiyo msichana alikuwa hapa ya Lamu. Alipewa 10 milioni. Kila nakuja hapa kuongea ile maneno naongea hapa mbele ya watu. Si ndio? Si ndio? Naomba ndio tufaulu going forward. Vile wazee waliniambia nitengeneze chama, munisaidie na askari 150. Bwana Sifuna ati
Hey taskers, ready to turn everyday actions into cash?
My goodness, politics is something very sweet. Listen to that.
Rigijini mkabila. Ati watu ya mlima ni wakabila. Nimeona wakikutusi hapo kwa mtandao. Ati umeenda kwa wakabila. Huyu William Ruto tukimchagua alikuwa Mkikuyu. Alikuwa Mumeru. Alikuwa Muembu. Yeye ni nini? Si ni Kalejin? Si alikuwa ametuhangaisha 207? Si alikuwa ameua watoto Kiambaa? Na tukamsamehe. Kama tulichagua mtu aliua watoto wetu na tukamsamehe, na wewe Sifuna hujaua mtu, tunaweza pea wewe? Why not? So mimi nataka niambie William Ruto, please don't call us tribalists because tumekukataa. Siku tulikupenda, tukikupatia kura ulikuwa unasema sisi ni wangwana. Saa ile umetusaliti, umetugeuka unasema sisi ni wakabila. Sisi vile tulipea wewe, tunaweza pea Kalonzo, tunaweza pea Matiang'i, tunaweza pea Sifuna, hata hiyo Oburu tunaweza pea yeye. Sisi bwana William Ruto hatuna deni na wewe. Ati unasikia vibaya ati kura yetu tunaweza pea mtu mwingine. Ati anasema hii kura ya
Gachagua, my goodness.
ametaka vijana.
So, this is the politics of the day, and it needs an elite mind to actually just sit down and analyze, not to be carried away by emotions, or maybe to go as by the parties or whatever. I think the politics of Kenya should revolve around individuals. They should move away from parties where we are looking at ODM. Sometimes you talk about people in ODM and people are like, why are you talking about ODM like that? Why are you talking about DCP like that? Why are you talking about Wiper like that? It is politics that should move away from parties to individuals. And if we begin doing this analysis, the earlier the better. Because we'll actually understand the kind of people who are before us. Whether they are hyenas, who are greedy and individualized, focused towards leadership and money, or whether they are in to improve our situation. Because we are tired. Our situation is bad. Taxes every day. Money being reduced from our salaries every day. We being forced to build for other people houses when we don't have houses. Being forced to actually fuel people's vehicles when you don't have vehicles, we are walking on foot. Being forced to actually pay for other people's health care when we don't have a good comprehensive health care. You get it? So anyway, let's know the speech that Gachagua gave on the road after people blocked him around Githurai. What did he say?
Msitukimbiza tutoe mtu. Tukitoa mtu saa hii Kasongo watamuhangaisha. Si ndio? Tutatoa mtu huko Disemba, huko Januari mwaka ujao. Mwaka huu ni wa kutengeneza chama, kuunda chama cha DCP na kutafuta marafiki. Nitaenda pwani nitafuta marafiki. Unajua juzi DCP chama mpya tumesimamisha mtu Narok, tukanyoa Kasongo. Tukachaguliwa DCP pale Narok. Hapa Nairobi, Kariobangi, mtu ya DCP. Huko Western, mtu ya DCP. Chama chetu kiko na umaarufu, ni chama cha kimataifa. Na hapa Roiro nataka ikuwe bedroom.
Oh my God, what is this?
Harambee! Harambee! Na mimi niambia Kasongo, wewe wanasema, ngoja kidogo. Wewe wanasema ati sisi hatujajenga barabara. Barabara haiwezi jengwa na pesa ya mtu kwa mfuko. Barabara inajengwa na serikali. Inajengwa maji na serikali. Lakini wewe Kasongo, wacha tuangalie track record yako. Katika miaka 3, track record yako ni kuua vijana ya Gen Z. That is your track record. Number 2, Kasongo, your track record masomo. Track record yako ni kuharibu mambo ya matibabu. Track record yako ni kuiba pesa ya e-Citizen. Track record yako ni kuharibu mambo ya majani chai. Track record yako ni uongo. Ati unaambia watu ati utajenga barabara ya orofa hapa. Ni uongo, si uongo. Sisi hatuhitaji pesa, hatuhitaji barabara ya orofa saa hii.
Tunataka utoe pesa watoto wetu wasome. Tunataka ununue dawa kwa hospitali. Sasa hiyo barabara unasema utajenga, ukiua watoto upige risasi kwa mguu, nani atapitia hiyo barabara? Kasongo ni muongo, si muongo? Martha Karua amejitolea, Matiang'i amejitolea, Kalonzo amejitolea, Natembeya amejitolea. Tutasikizana tutoe mtu mmoja ya kupambana na Kasongo. Si ndio? Harambee! Na msikuwe na haraka, msitukimbize tutoe mtu. Tukitoa mtu saa hii Kasongo watamuhangaisha. Si ndio? Tutatoa mtu huko Disemba, huko Januari mwaka ujao. Mwaka huu ni wa kutengeneza chama, kuunda chama cha DCP na kutafuta marafiki. Nitaenda pwani nitafute marafiki. Unajua juzi DCP chama mpya tumesimamisha mtu Narok, tukanyoa Kasongo. Tukachaguliwa DCP.
All right, so that is Gachagua for you.
Nifugieni salamu ya mwaka mpya, mwaka mpya, mwaka mpya. Nilikuwa mazishi Murang'a. Tujaonana.
Write anything, just 2 photos.
Hadi niliwacha nyinyi. Mugari muko hapo? Mugari muko hapo? Munasemaje? Githurai munasemaje? Antom. Hapo ni Antom. Kasongo anasema ati muende Singapore. Situmuchekele. Sasa nikisema Kasongo anasema Singapore, munacheka. Kasongo anasema tuende Singapore. Hii mtu anatubeba ufala. Anatubeba ufala. Mambo ya shule ameongeza. Si ndio? Ameongeza mambo ya school fees. Ameharibu matibabu. Ameharibu mambo ya university. Ameharibu kila kitu. Ameharibu biashara. Alafu anasema atapeleka Singapore. Ni uongo, si uongo? Kasongo aende asiende? Wangapi wanasema Kasongo aende? Watu wangu wa Githurai, huu ndio mwaka ya kuamua sasa. Uchaguzi ni next. Uchaguzi ni next. Sasa mwaka wa kujiandaa ni mwaka huu. Na mimi nataka tutengeneze gari yetu ya kutafuta uongozi. Na gari yetu ni chama cha DC. Chama cha DC. Wacha nione watu wa DCP, watu ya DCP.
Watu wa DCP. My goodness.
Kufika kwa mtu akatuambia tushuke.
Watu wa DCP, wa DCP.
Chama chetu cha DCP ya kutafuta serikali. Alafu tukipata serikali tuwe na viongozi wa maana ambaye hawezi uza nyinyi kwa Kasongo.
All right, guys, that is politics. That is why I love politics. So funny, at the same time, very critical. You need to have a critical mind to talk about this. Now, I want us to see something into that funeral. You're stepping on my toe. I want us to look at something here. Where is this?
What was DCP?
DCP, what a race we called. Hey, you people. You make me laugh.
Here's how developers at Perplexity and NVIDIA are prompting AI 10 times faster. You're prompting Cursor over 100 times.
I serve as the National Treasurer, SCNS. This is my
Kasi ya mfarume. Ikiwa mfarume mwenyewe anakaa chini. Serikali ambayo tuko nayo saa hii mfarume anakaa chini. Kwa hivyo hakuna venye anaweza kutupatia kiti. Na ya pili niseme ya kwamba tunapoongeleza wananchi ni vizuri kujua tunasema nini. Tunajua mbio za panya ushindwa na panya, ama sio? Mbio za farasi ushindwa na farasi. Na kwa hivyo hakuna panya atakuja kuwa mshauri katika mbio ya farasi. Kwa hivyo kama sisi ni watu wa one term, kama mimi ni one term, mkereketwa sugu wa Rigiji na chama ya DCP, hatutaki kupewa wosia na wale ambao ni washauri wa mbio za panya. Sisi tunajipatia wosia sisi wenyewe. Na ya mwisho, ndugu yangu Sifuna, unajua nimesikia ukirushiwa maneno. Lakini nilikuwa najiuliza akili mainzi, akili tunduizi zitapatikana wapi kama kipimo cha kupima akili nzuri ni kukumbaliana na kila kitu ambacho kinasemwa na akili vichaa, akili za uchochole kama akina Junet, akina Cheragei na wengine. Haiwezi patikana. Kwa hivyo ningesema uendelee na njia hiyo hiyo na ujipe nguvu. Na ujue ya kwamba ukiona kivuli cha mtu mfupi kianza kuwa kirefu, ujue ni machweo ama ni macheo. Siku yao inakuja. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki.
Asante Senator Murango.
Murango oye.
Ati mwihoko wa giti. Ati uthiraga riko ria hingo na kiugo guo mothe.
Let's listen to Model.
Nimefurahia sana. Mimi sijafika kuwa reverend kwa hiyo kanisa, lakini mimi ni deacon. Ndio maana wakati mtu alianza kuleta vujo hapa mliniona nimefika mapema. Ndio nijua nasema maneno gani. Lakini muwasamehe sana. Unajua ukitembea na William Ruto ni lazima kuna kitu moja upoteze. Hauwezi kuwa unatembea na William Ruto na ukuwe na akili. Haiwezekani hiyo vitu mbili.
Na nyinyi ndio mnaambiwa mna akili.
Ni kweli ama ni uongo?
Kila wakati wekao.
Msichana mdogo kiasi kama hiyo anakuja kutusi sisi hapa. Hiyo ni mtu kweli mnaona kama akili yake inafanya kazi? Na hiyo ndio marafiki ya William Ruto. Ndio maana mimi Rigathi Gachagua na shangaa. Mtu anaitwa William Ruto anatuuliza manifesto. Yeye kwanza hana nafasi ya kutuuliza manifesto yake kwa sababu yeye rafiki yake ya kwanza anaitwa Faruki Bent alifika class 2. Rafiki yake mwingine anaitwa Oscar Sudi alifika class nursery. Manifesto yetu watasoma wakianzia mbele ama nyuma makatikati. Sisi manifesto yetu Mheshimiwa William Ruto wewe. Manifesto yetu Mheshimiwa William Ruto wewe. Manifesto yetu namba 1 ni kufukuza wewe kabla hujafikisha sisi Singapore. Tunataka tufikishe wewe Sugoi. Niko kana tiguo. Aende asiende. Na hapa iko mudenda kwa anaitwa Senator Sifuna. Sasa Senator Sifuna last week alikuwa huko kwao. Mahali walikuwa na Waluya walikuwa na changamuka. Alikuwa ananitumia clip jioni. Ati Waluya walisema one time. Sasa amekuja nyumbani. Ananiambia sasa unajua Waluya walisema huko kwetu na sasa mimi nimekuja hapa kwenu. Mimi nataka nisikie hapa kwenu mnasemaje. Sasa hapa kwetu mnasemaje? Hapana, huyu mtu ataniringia tukirudi bunge. Lazima mseme mpaka asikie kabisa. Hapa kwetu tunasemaje? Hapa tunasemaje?
Guys, I told you when in Kenya it comes to political moments, now people move from any other discussion. They'll bring money and they'll talk politics. That is the funerals that we are going to watch in 2026 because 2027 is here, guys. Anyway, what is this that actually pressed the people to talk so much about the accusations and call RUTO a small brain person? It is because of one lady known as Mudhoni. So I wanted us to actually get to see what she said, MP Mudhoni. And of course, there was a lot of chaos that was created around that. So once we see that, we'll be coming to an end of our political discussion. So let's listen to what she said.
zenu sio kama shida zetu. Ingawa wazazi wetu walitoka huku, nyinyi mnaonekana mshafika Singapore. Na mimi kama Mudhoni mshafika Singapore nyinyi. Mimi kama Mudhoni, mimi nawaambia mimi sio wa one term, mimi ni wa two term kwa sababu mimi Mudhoni ni wa two term. Na ni wa two term.
Well, is this what happened, really? Hey, look at that. Hey, true. My goodness. These people had to stop her from speaking. Jesus Christ. Drama. Yeah, emotional hooliganism.
Kumbukeni tuko kwa
Matanga
ya heshima. Kumbukeni tuko, omba tuketi.
So can you imagine what happened after Mudhoni came out? Sometimes you have to be cautious and check where you are. I don't know why Mudhoni had to actually press this aspect of Singapore and two-term. Because sometimes you just have to watch the environment where you are and accept the situation as they are. I have to remove this because of what the two people, Mudavadi and Wetangula, did. When they were at Jirongo's funeral and people started attacking them, they just kept quiet and had to sit there like mumu. But you know what? Sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to do that because if you dare go against the will of the people, you're gonna die. My goodness. So that is what happened at to MP Mudhoni, who was pulled from the altar. She could not speak. She could not actually address those people because she knew very well MP Gakuya himself is a one-term. Then she goes there to say, I am two-term. And she's actually talking like somebody who is so proud and ignoring the rest of them. Guys, be careful. This is a very dangerous time. And whenever you go to places, you have to guard your ego. And be sure that you are not actually performing on a theater, in a theater room. You are not acting. And politics is one thing that is very emotional. People can really react in a very funny way towards you. So guys, bye-bye for now. I really appreciate your presence on my channel. And let's keep it real and the politics right here. Bye-bye for now. Till next time. After charge.